How's it going, everyone? We're here to check out the top skins that have been submitted this week, and these are going to be my top 10. That's my personal top 10. That does not mean that these will make it in, nor does it mean any of the skins in all of this video will make it in. The game's lead dev, Hulk, picks out 8 to 10 skins every week, and that's it. It pretty much usually moves on unless it's part of a set, then maybe it might have a chance later on. But anyways, moving on, our first thing up is going to be the Light Armor by GBG. And it's a road sign set, and it's barely a road sign set. As you can see, it's literally very, very light armor. And yeah, I think they maybe could have carved out the coffee can maybe a little bit more, but one way or another, it definitely looks very silly, and I think it is a very kind of cool idea for sure. Next up, we have a high qual set from Bad Trip. It is the Biker set, and as you can see, it's a high qual set that's themed after bicycling, or cycling as you may call it, depending on where you may be from. Has reflectors, it's bright yellow, all sorts of things just to go right with the update, but with a nice low high quality bit and a nice big front visor. Moving on to our deployables, we have the Moonguard sleeping bag. We've featured this set many times, and it's just because of how beautifully sculpted this is. The artwork, the owl, the runes, everything is just absolutely beautiful and just so well done. Moving on, we've got a very creative skin. We've got the Mosquito Net by McCurdy. And as you can see, it's just simply a screen for windows. And I mean, it's a simple idea. It works very well. They've done a great job with it, and I could see a lot of role players loving this skin if it were to make it in. Then over here we have a continuation with the Tomb of the Octopus set with the double sheet metal door, and it's a double sheet metal door that glows, and it looks epic, and it has very good sculpting. It's very beautiful. It doesn't look flat. This is just an easy sell. Moving on, we've got ourselves a garage door as our last deployable. It's the Black Lily garage door by Mr. Verona, and it's just got this beautiful artwork on it. It has this nice transparency. Of course, there's two versions, one's with and without, but it's altogether just a very gorgeous looking door. It's sculpted and just has a nice artistic clean look. Now if we kill our lights, we can take a look at its really nice fluorescent glow. Has also the two little the two little red dots there at the end. Then over here we have the glow on the octopus door. And lastly, we'll cruise on over to our sleeping bag. Moving on, we have our weapons. First up is going to be the Junkernaut Thompson. This has been a very popular set. Hulk seems to like a lot of the pieces, and they're selling quite well. And the Thompson is honestly, as I usually say, a very hard thing to skin and look well. And they just did a very beautiful job with this one. I think that the oil slick and just the little broken up parts with the wood still in between just really fits Rust. Aiming down the sights, you do have a yellow tip like the rest of the set. And there's that reload. Next, we've got the Royal Safari SAR. We saw one piece from this set make it in, and it's done very well. A lot of people also received it quite well. They love that kind of shine and bling to it, so I could see the SAR doing very well. Therefore, it is a very easy pick for my top 10 this week. Aiming down the sides, you do have that gold versus the stripes going on. Next, we have an LR for you, and it's part of the very popular Apocalypse Nomad set. There's always two versions, one's with a modified sight and one without, and it's always a very rusty, beat-up gun, and for that, people just absolutely love it. It looks like you literally just found it out here somewhere, you know what I mean? Aiming down the sights, there are those modified LR sights, so yes, this would be the main selling point for this one. Whole ring is gone and everything, so there we have that one. Moving on to our last but not least, we've got the Forged M39, and this whole thing just looks like it is made out of Damascus steel, but then it's got like this tempered purple kind of thing going on with parts of it, and we just don't see M39s very often, and this is just a no-brainer for an easy sale. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a nice red tip, and there we go for the reload. Alright, let's jump into our rest of the skins here, and first up we've got a burlap head wrap, and it is the biker helmet by Le Crampe, and as you can see, it basically looks like it is an actual helmet, kind of like the bicycle helmet we got in this last week, so hey, definitely a very cool design. Next we have another set, and this was up in the running for the top 10 for me this week. It's the Bones burlap shirt and pants, and it just looks really well done. The texture to the burlap underneath looks very, very nice. It's breathable. It looks like burlap still, and I think they've just done a really outstanding job at texturing and modeling and styling this whole thing. Next we have a combo of a burlap head wrap and poncho for you for the Knights set. So you've got the Knight's helmet with a dragon on the side, and then you've got this really epic poncho that looks like a cape. They've done a really good job with it, and it just looks very, very regal. Next up, we've got the goofy little banana peel hat. It's actually a boonie hat, but it looks like you're literally just wearing a banana peel on your head. It's goofy, it's dumb. I don't know if it's too dumb, but hey, one way or another, silly skins sometimes make it in, and a lot of people love that. Next up, we've got continuation in the Kittens Raider set, and it's a hoodie and pants. You've got the same little cat poking its way out of the chest there, and the same kind of patchy blue and jean kind of look to it. It's kind of got like a corduroy and jean kind of combo with patchwork and everything kind of just going on with it there. Next, we've got the Curse of the Voodoo hoodie and pants for you, and man, these have some nasty slime out of them. I mean, the furnace was trippy looking, but this is even creepier. Definitely a very, very cool looking set. We've got some boots for you, and they're simply rubber boots. And yeah, they kind of have like that croc look, and they have little croc like charms on them even, metal face mask and an AK right there. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of a simple idea. We've seen a few different versions of crocs. And yeah, it's just a funny little idea. Next, we have some road sign gloves for you. They're the motorcycle gloves, to be specific. And yeah, they kind of have a really old, worn leather look to it with this kind of chrome plating to it. Definitely has a very kind of rust feel to them. And yeah, I could see a lot of people liking these if they popped in and probably wanting a whole kind of set to go along with it. Next, we've got our high qual set for you, and it is the Flame Metal set. And man, this is just shiny. It's got these purple flames, and then you've got these like gold straps, and it's just all sorts of shininess, and actually it glows. And yeah, there's not a lot of glowing metal sets because you don't really want to, well, be seen at night, but hey, some people don't mind, and for those, well, that's where this kind of set exists. Last but not least, we have the Infested chest plate, and yeah, it's a pretty normal looking kind of old chrome, dirty chrome kind of look, metal chest plate and face mask. It's got some stitches together, but yeah, there's something crawling out of that chest piece there, and not quite sure what it is, but definitely a fun little idea. Alright, let's move on to our deployables. First up, we've got some small boxes. First one up is a little cooler, the Cobalt Frost box. And as you can see, it's like a little igloo cooler for your Frosties. Definitely a fun little design. Then over here we have the box with map, and it basically just has like what looks like an old rust map on it. Some nice old leather strapping on some old wood. Moving on to our large boxes, we've got the TNT box. It's got lots of dynamite there on the top with a second to go. Then we got ourselves the criminal large box, and on it you've got all sorts of, well, criminal activity to go along, I guess, with the prisoner update. I think would make the most sense there. Then with this, we've got the dark ore box. Definitely a nice continuation with the set. And over here we've got the ammo flash box. Looks like another attempt at a possible labeled glowing box set. Definitely something I know people would like. Moving to our furnaces, we've got the Big Boom furnace for you. Then we've got something a little more carnival-y with this circus tent. Moving along, the bottle of rust rum. And lastly, the industrial melter. Moving on, we have the smoldering barricade for you as well, as it seems we are getting some cement barricades every now and then. Then we have a rug for you, and it's a nice little curtain. It's the cozy tool rug. Then we've got a leaf for you. It comes in two versions, cloth and nylon. It is, well, simply the neat leaf rug. Moving on, we have a vending machine for you this week, simply called the pizza vending machine. Moving on to our doors, we have the Frontier version 2 door. And my first base version 2 door, complete with little drawings. Onto sheet metal, we've got the Chalk Menace up for you first, followed by Containment, Educational, Gasoline, Ice Eye, Sea Relic, and Ear door. Yeah, that one is a very, very, very interesting one. Moving on, we've got a single double door for you this weekend. Is the Abyss double door version 2. Maybe version 2 will be the one that makes it in. Moving on to our garage doors, we've got some more motorcycle themes for you with the Born to Ride garage door and the Lone Rider garage door, which has a little hidden face in there. Then we've got the Armored Car, Greenhouse garage door. Then we've got this crazy design over here with the Drag dark door, Rusty Pizza garage door, and the Camp Lade garage door. Lastly, we do have a armored door for you, and it is of course the Watcher of Doom armored door, as you should recognize. And go ahead and kill the lights here. And let's take a look at our glow. Shame there's not a light on the back of the vending machine there, like maybe a pizza pie. And then we can move on to our boxes. And that does it. Right, let's jump into our weapons and tools. And first up, we've got a crusty old hammer for you, the Mystic Hammer, to be specific. And it also has a glowing version, complete with mystical choices of what you're going to go out for today. So definitely very fun. Then we've got ourselves the Panda Bear Rock. Definitely a fun one for anyone that likes critter rocks. This was definitely something for you this week. Moving on, we've got the Revolver Nana version 2. It's basically just been updated, as it was an older one, to have the newish colors and textures from the more recent parts of the set. Aim down the sights, you have that signature banana green for the front tip. Moving on, we have a Python for you, the Flight of Fancy. There you go. Aiming down the sights here, it has a kind of goldish tip, I would say, I guess, more or less. Next up, we have a sap for you, the poisonous sap to be specific. As you can see, it kind of has that orange and black kind of autumn camo thing going on, but very lightly. Aiming down the sights, you do have an orange tip. And there's that reload. Next up, we have the Golden Thompson by Algorithm, and well, basically it's just a solid gold Thompson. Not much else to really go from there. Aiming down the sights, you've got gold on gold, as you would expect from an all-gold gun. Moving on, we've got some customs for you. First one here is going to be the Ditto Custom SMG. This has been a very popular set, and most pieces have been making their way in, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see this one pop its way in. Also, love how there's kind of like a toucan at the front, and they use the bolt as its eye. Definitely very, very creative. Aim down the sights here, you have those same kind of aqua tips, and there's that reload. Next, we've got the MK Ultra Custom SMG. This one has a little bit of more pop up with the face. You can see it kind of sticks up a little bit, which is nice, a little bit better than that kind of flatness we've had on some of the other pieces. Aiming down the sights here, you've got that MK Ultra and a little bit of purple, magenta, whatever you want to call it, on the tips. Next up, we've got the last of our customs, the Destruction SMG. As you can see, it has kind of like little bullet bills kind of things going on there, but they're definitely they're different enough from the actual ones. Some pew-pews and some digital stuff. Aiming down the sights, you've got a extra target reticle, and unfortunately the sights are just normal iron sights. Moving on, we have the Pirate MP5 for you. As you can see, it fits into the set beautifully with algae and that torn map with the fish bones. Aiming down the sights, of course, you have a nice red tip to the sight. Next, we have our rifles, starting off with the Toxic Blaster SAR for you. This one has all sorts of green ooze coming out of a very kind of chrome, almost rebar, steel-looking body to it. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a green tip, and if we do go and kill the lights, you'll see that some of the green glows. Not the tip, of course, but there we do have some toxic ooze. Then moving on to starting with our ARs, we've got ourselves the Dragon Flame AK-47. Has a dragon kind of carved out the back, it's blowing out a flame there, and the rest of it kind of has pretty much regular just kind of gunmetal body. Aiming down the sights here, you do have a nice red tip and some dragon scales. Our next AR is the Prey AK-47, and this has some definite crazy look to it. It has this rib cage, and it looks like it's almost glowing, but it doesn't glow. Aiming down the sides, you've got a skull and some other craziness going on with it right there. Then we've got ourselves a continuation of the Wartech set with the Wartech AR. It just has such a beautiful, clean look to it, and I could see a lot of people just loving it for that. Aiming down the sights here, you can see there's kind of like a mix of that polymer with the metal. Then our next AR is a work of art with the Wildcat by Freddy. It's got that jaguar and jungle background going on. Nice kind of tiki wood grip. Aiming down the sights, you've got some jaguar eyes staring back at you and a darker green to the tip, but it still kind of almost looks like the same color there for our sights. Moving on, we've got some LRs. The first one's going to be the Snake by LR. It's a nice continuation in the set, and we've also seen a lot of pieces from this one pop in, so I wouldn't be surprised if we actually saw this one this next week. Aiming down the sights, you do have a kind of fainter red to the ring and tip, as you would expect, and a little bit of eyeball there on that empty spot. Always nice to see some skinners using that. Then we've got the Aphovis LR there. I'm sure I'm not saying that right. And yeah, it's got some crazy artwork there on the side, and the rest of the AR is just kind of simply colored, very kind of plain, clean cut. Aiming down the sights, you do have bright red sights. And there we are for our reload. Last for our LRs, we've got the Military Legacy, and this has got a kind of old, worn military tech look to it, and you've got these stickers, kind of gives that old kind of World War II vibe with, you know, wanting to put art on the side of it kind of thing, but they're kind of more new agey stickers. Aiming on the sides here, you do have a red tip against a black ring, and some score marks there for keeping track of some kills, it appears. And last but not least, we do have a bolty for you, and it is from a very popular set, the Phantom set. It's a very, very old set, many pieces accepted over time, and this bolty version 2 is definitely looking very, very regal. Definitely see a lot of people loving this one for sure, and bolty skins, as I always say, are on the rare side. Aiming down the sides here, you do have some golden versus a red tip, in case you want to do some iron sighting. But that's going to do it, everybody. Sound off down in the comment section below which ones you are hoping to make it in this week the most and why. As always, any kind of feedback you have, I'll try to get to the right people if it's not for me. And I hope you all are enjoying your fresh wipe. Stay rusty.